talk about, because we started talking about like live streaming and all that, I got the feel like I never heard the way you guys work with live streaming. I feel like most out there just do like a TV shop, like a sales pitch, and it doesn't feel, you know, like something you want to actually watch. But I think you had some great points. I'd love to talk about that. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, I know for us, just as a team, so there's about six of us. I think it just naturally fits into like the ethos of Manos anyway, that, we are passionate and love the products anyway. We have our own experiences with them. We have our favorite scents or our favorite product types. But I think for all of us, like our aim is, it's not just about the products. It's about making people feel good about themselves. It's about making people feel part of a community. And I know all of us have like our own little like followers, and we have our own little community that jump on each and every single live. But I think, the diversity in the team as well, that transcends even just feedback from to the team. For my lives, people are like, oh my gosh, it's incredible to see a plus size woman who's confident on the screen, and I'm buying the product, but actually I feel like relatable. I feel like I can talk to her, and we had these conversations. So I think it's just a natural kind of point for Manos that we are obviously selling, we are packing, and I think there's a fun element of that as well, but it is very much that community basis. And I love holding those conversations. I love hearing about people's experiences with what they're shopping and what they're using. So it's definitely a fun just opportunity. And it's one I've been in now nearly 9 or 10 months, and it doesn't feel like it's been like that, because it's just fun every single life.
Nice. But how do you, so what's the setup? Like, how do you run a live? Yeah.
So we do work from a studio setup. So that is, with the products are there, or pink room, following with the brand in there. But it really is as simple as we set the live up, we pop it on a tripod, and then we just run with it. Obviously kind of just following metrics. We have the seller dashboard up to the side, so obviously just ensuring that we're pinning the right products. When we're speaking about products, it's there readily available. Which again, I think the ways of how you run a live anyway. But yeah, it's just honestly the most simplest setup. There's no kind of just plug in and go live, and you just watch. I mean, so I say I watch the time. I'm terrible. I like go over, because you just get so involved in it. Like the time just drifts away, and you're just chatting and you're just catching up with people. But yeah, it's just like the simplest setup. I think, so I don't want to say like it's so easy, but in that respect, it definitely is. And of course, the job itself is difficult at times. Like you've obviously, you can't have that kind of breakaway, so you're always kind of engaged in there. And I think you've got to be quite quick to think off the top of your head. You've definitely got to have confidence and be chatty. And no one wants to watch someone just stood there in silence. But yeah, it's relatively easy in the setup for that. And then the kind of live itself, like I said, it's a mix between kind of product knowledge, people asking questions, when it comes to new products. I mean, I haven't been in for 2 weeks, and there's been a lot launched. So I had my first live on Sunday, and I was like, there's so much newness, and I'm so excited. And everyone was like, Nick, it's not new. And I'm like, but it's new for me, and I'm really excited about it. So, it's, like I said, to be honest, like, it's a dream. It's something for me that just feels really natural. And of course, having that passion for the brand and being a customer first and foremost, I think that naturally kind of transcends into how I speak about the brand, how I speak about the products, and how I use them.
Mm.
Yeah, it's really fun.
And so how many lives do you do per, like, either per week or per month? And how long is it, hours and hours, or yeah, what's the ideal during time?
Where I do it alongside a full-time job, I have my kind of set days and times. So mine is usually on a Wednesday evening, and then I go in on a Sunday afternoon into the evening. And with those, it's kind of like, this is my spot. Join me here. Very easy then for people to know if they want to join my life, that's what I'm on. And we've made it a bit fun where we've got our own kind of time. So I do this thing called like Self-Care Sunday, and it's a moment where I'm holding myself accountable to do a face mask and use the products. And then we just kind of really chill. The vibe is really nice. It's a Sunday evening, before the working week ahead. And again, that is an opportunity to connect, to showcase the product in what feels a bit more of a natural way, but it's everything I use and it's my routine. So people are familiar with that. They can see how it's used. They can obviously see how, my skin changes with the products, and why I use them and what it targets, etc. So I have my kind of key spots, much with the other girls as well. I think we've got about 2 full-timers. So they are literally through Monday to Friday, kind of morning to afternoon to evening. And then some of the girls, like university students, they work around. So I think there's a mix of kind of full-time, dedicated in kind of working those normal core hours. And then there's a few of us then that are just kind of in, because I love having my kind of Wednesday and Sunday, and that's what I stick to. And then I kind of add more hours where's needed, basically. But yeah, it's kind of flexible. I know in terms of like the time frame, we are trying to get to like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. right the way through up until the evening. And obviously during that day, there are key points. Early morning, I find you have a lot of people like getting ready for work or getting ready for the day, and they just want to like have you by the side. And it's like they're getting ready, you're talking about products, and you're setting up for the day. So it's like that lovely kind of conversational piece. Normally around lunchtime, you get the kind of lunchtime squirrels who are like, again, wanting conversation on their lunch break. And then the evenings, then onwards, you kind of get people coming back from work or just sat like on an evening scrolling. So you have those key points. But yeah, we're kind of, I think the goal would ultimately be 24/7 in all honesty. And but yeah, we're kind of full on through that. We kind of take the shifts as and when.
Wow. So you can be on for like 10 hours.
Yeah, so we do obviously have breaks.
Yes.
But I tend to kind of try to keep, and again, I dare say you get rewarded, but you do kind of fall within the algorithm the longer you stay on. So we kind of avoid any lives shorter than an hour and a half. I personally try to keep going for at least 4 hours.
And then a break.
Again, then a break and then join back on. So that I find keeps me within the algorithm. I think like the viewer numbers are at a reasonable level. You do see them dip up and down, but I think within that 4 hours, it's kind of a reasonable time frame that you're kind of getting that reach, you're getting out there, you picked up with an algorithm, and you do your people dropping in and out, and they'll be like, "Hi, Mick, that. Oh, I need to go away for half an hour. I'll be back in half an hour," and then they'll like join back on. And I think our core audience are very like used to having at least 4 hours of us live, and then there's a short break. I mean, if we have any longer, we do have questions like, "Where have you been? We need our Mallows fix." But yeah, I think we kind of stick within. Obviously, we have a kind of account exec as well who helps guide us to what TikTok like to see, because obviously they want people on lives and they want to keep it active, and there are kind of violations as well in things, in terms of things you can't say and you can say. So like I said, the setup is very easy, but I think the job itself, there are things to consider, and ways to do the role and succeed at it. But yeah, I try to keep pushing through for 4 hours, and then I'm like, my voice is breaking.
That's impressive. But then I guess like you need to love talking, right? Like anyone who, yeah, like all of your colleagues, they need to be someone that, yeah, we just love talking, right?
Honestly, I feel like in a job description that should be the first thing for a TikTok live presenter. You need to love the sound of your own voice, because you're essentially in a room by yourself with a phone in front of you, and of course those conversations, they aren't vocal conversations; they're conversations through text. So I mean, like, half of the readers, I don't know what their accents are, how they sound. It is literally a text, and they, messaging on the screen, and then obviously I'm vocally responding to that, which is sometimes feels a little bit weird, because again, you've essentially you're talking to yourself, because all you see is yourself on that screen. So yeah, it's definitely a skill. But yeah, I would say the first thing of a TikTok presenter is loving the sound of your own voice.
Yeah. But obviously you are an influencer, so you have a lot of followers. So I guess you already know the way of talking and expressing and all that. But do you bring your followers? Would you say that's a key if any other brands want to kind of start running TikTok lives? Should they only hire influencers that can bring in? Is that your idea, also bring in your followers, or how do you bring in people?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a necessity of the role. A lot of the girls weren't influencers, actually from this, have actually formed a community in the live and built their following up that way. I don't think it gives me a little bit more knowledge, because I'm both an influencer and I'm working in the influencer industry. So again, I know the conversations that are happening, I know kind of trends, I know how to react to them. But I wouldn't say that would be a necessity. I think the core things is just finding somebody who is confident. And, there are people out there who aren't influencers, who are very, very confident and, maybe don't necessarily understand social media. I think in that element, it's very, like, you can teach how to set up, and you can teach those things. And we do have kind of regular training. Yeah. And the brand themselves are so supportive, because obviously Laura herself is kind of an influencer in her own right, as well as a brand owner, and there are influencers within, including myself, and we used to have another influencer too in the team. I wouldn't say it's the be end all. I mean, if you do have that opportunity, I think it does help in terms, like you said, of bringing that audience along. So I've always posted about Mallows anyway, so I've always had that like established relationship and communication with my audience, because hands down, like the peachy range, everyone knows me for the peachy range. So yeah, I think that kind of naturally, and I think everyone in their own right can be an influencer. I don't think you necessarily need a presence on social media. I have, I know of people who kind of influence their friendships, and it's not necessarily on a social media basis, but it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
And, I think in that regard, you're still bringing people on as long as they're confident, as long as they love the sound of their own voice. I think that's the daunting thing of it. And we've had people who've come in, and I think it's that element of literally standing in front of a phone and being able to just constantly talk, and being able to kind of, like I said, think off the top of your head, react to conversations. Again, it's very product heavy, so you do need to have that understanding as well. But I think that's all things that naturally can be taught. But they have their influences. They'll have, we've had girls where their families join, and then their family friends join, and then they're encapsulated in the world of Mallows. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's like a necessity. I think it's a clever marketing tactic, if I'm honest. If you're bringing someone on who's already established within, has their audience, but is already confident, already putting themselves in front of the screen, and has that kind of confidence to do that, it maybe is naturally a little bit easier. But I wouldn't say it's to say, oh no, we only want
Yeah.
influencers. It is a really good opportunity across. I know us personally, like I said, we've got some university students. They're studying kind of marketing. So again, it's experience for them. So they're on kind of both ends of the scale to understand it, being put in the spotlight, should we say, but also being behind the scenes of it. And we've got, people who haven't done marketing in their life, but have just, loved the products, have a passion about it, aren't confident, and they're smashing it. So, I think it's maybe a good marketing tactic.
Yeah.
If you did an influencer, but I wouldn't say it's like the necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like viewership, obviously you are now built up, so you probably have like a pool of people always coming in every Sunday. But and you probably also see the ups and downs, but what would you, if you're a brand starting this, what is okay? Like, what is like really, if you love viewership where you feel like, okay, we need to change it? Like, do you know any stats from there that could be benchmark for other brands?
I mean, it's a difficult one because I've had days where I've logged on like a Saturday morning and we're really struggling to push 40 people viewing.
Okay.
But we're still, they're still buying and they're still engaged. I think sometimes like not worrying about the numbers like is a good thing. Like I think because even with the girls, I like even myself, sometimes I'd be like, gosh, I can't even push over 40. Why am I not like in the algorithm? And again, I've just kept it going. And then the longer I've kept it going, I mean, we do kind of do things like giveaways, which naturally kind of entices people. We always say on our lives to give us a follow, give us a like, give us a share, all of those normal kind of tactics to get people engaged. But I think like when I haven't been able to like push those numbers, it kind of affects me and I can see it in like my performance, and then I start panicking, and I think that like naturally is like seen by the audience. So I think, we do look at the sales and we do look at like, product numbers as well, so see how the stock is doing, so we can, if something's selling particularly well and we've got 5 of them left, we can kind of give a warning and be like, look, we've got 5 of this left. But in terms of those numbers, they are important, but I wouldn't say that they're the be end all. I think if you can start establishing those, that community of people, like I said, they don't just join for my lives, they're on every single time. And they're constantly sharing it, and they're constantly engaging and liking and following and bringing people on. Again, with the timing, I think it says like we get like little messages come up, and I think like after 90 minutes, like, yes, great, like keep going. I think to naturally fit within the algorithm, again, is, I'm sure there's people behind the scenes of TikTok like tapping away. But I think the longer you can keep it going, again, I think the more entertaining, the more kind of like connected you can be with even those that are joining. I think you'll naturally, and again, it does fall in line with what you're doing then on your main feed as well. I don't think live is necessarily like the one be end all thing. I think you need to build that kind of connection with your main feed as well.
Yeah.
So we've started doing like announcements. We do have a separate account as well for the live team. So, it's people getting to know us. So they maybe haven't joined the live, but then they'll see a post of me saying about something and they might think, oh my gosh, there's a plus size girl, I need to go on her. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think that it all kind of works in unison with one another. But yeah, I think the numbers, I look at the stats after, and sometimes there's days and I'm like, actually, we didn't hit like over 2,000 viewers in total, and it was quiet, but actually the revenue was fine. But actually that live, I connected with someone and then they followed, and I think it all just merges together, and I think that's success. Actually, I think don't put too much like
focus on views
and focus on each. I think just use it like simultaneously. But yeah, it's the funnest job. Like I said, for me, I kind of try to not pressurize on the numbers either. Like, if I know and I'm like panicking, I know that just like it's just that energy is through the screen, and I think you then start seeing the numbers dwell, and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I bring this back? So yeah, I think it's just about enjoying it and being happy and being confident with it, and that's what like the audience engages with.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip. I think that comes down to all type of posts you do on social media. Whenever you feel like I only got 2 likes or 10 or whatever compared to what you usually get, and you feel so disappointed, you feel like, oh, I didn't do well. But in the end, it could just be the algorithm, just be that day, and the sun was not the perfect. It could be so many factors that you cannot control. So I think what you just said, like consistently posting and doing these lives, maybe doing it for longer, and just have fun. I think that could help a lot because, like you said, if you look stressful and not comfortable, I think the audience can see it, and obviously it will just perform even worse. But I love that tip. But then it's a lot about entertaining the people. Do you have any like tactics? You mentioned a few already, but like, do you have like some goal tactics to keep people engaged, like that you always use when you feel like, okay, now we need to get some push?
We do our kind of standard giveaways. We've always got some of them set up. Again, trying not to like do too many of those on a live. But that obviously kind of boosts it up. But I think for me, and you can see it sometimes when we get to the end of like product lines or like our mystery bundles, for example, like you can sometimes see like the momentum drop off because everyone's bought it. They want the new things. Honestly, I think we've launched 6 things in the last 2 weeks. And on my live on Sunday, everyone's like, "Well, when's new things coming?" I'm like, "Hang on a minute, we've got like six new launches in the last 2 weeks. Like, hold off." But for me, I think like the number one tactic is I just make it conversational. I stop and kind of step away from the product, and I ask, how people's day is. Again, building up their following and, sharing your life there. It's like my holiday. It's been the number one topic of conversation since coming back. People want to know how it was. And then you start building that rapport up. And then, you naturally see the numbers, and then people are enticed. They want to listen. They want to know. Everyone's, intrigued. And then, they'll come in with conversation. Like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? I'm talking about my holiday. Like, have any of you guys gone on holiday? And then you just kind of like pull it back. So it becomes kind of less like product focused. And then, you naturally then start slipping it in. And I'm like, well, when I was on holiday, I used the SPF and I was like compliment. And, you kind of naturally bring that in because we all do use the products. And like I said, with that community as well, we are holding conversations away from the live with these people. They want to connect on a personal level. So a lot of them do follow my social channels and they want to like message, about their day. So I think it's like I said, it's like learning how to like deviate away, but bringing it back to something that is, connecting yourself with them, making them feel involved as well and holding that conversation. So, I just kind of bring it back. Another thing that people seem to love is the music we play. So we have music playing in the background. So it's not like just completely silent and our voice. And for some reason, there's like this big thing on like the playlists we play. So I sometimes like if it's really like really, really quiet, I'm like, right, guys, like, are we liking the music or have we got any requests? And then people are like, oh, play this. And
Smart.
again, it's like that. Yeah, it's like that connective element. And then they, you're playing music and then they want to stay on because they want to listen to the song, which is really bizarre. Like, it's like the littlest things, but it just makes people feel like involved.
Maybe not alone either, right? Just listen to music. But now I feel like I'm dumb here, but all this music is just connected in TikTok, right? It's the music you have the rights. No, is it just in the background?
Yeah, we just play it in the background. Okay. My understanding.
That's fine.
Everything's okay.
Okay.
We just pop on a Spotify playlist. got a speaker in the room and we just play it in the background. Haven't been told that we're not to.
It's probably fine.
Kind of friendly. But yeah, we just pop on a playlist. I mean, I remember one Sunday, someone was like, they came on because I was involved in like modeling on the main feed, and then someone joined on and were like, oh my gosh, I saw the video that you were in for the tattoos, like refresh your tattoos. And I didn't I didn't even think, to use products. And I was like, yeah, I was like, that was me. I do use like a scrub and body butter just to keep them like looking like, new and healthy. And, we just ended up chatting away. And then there's like 3 other people then came in and they were all going on about this tattoo video. And then we realised we'd all been at the same music festival. And we were all just like, oh my gosh, we're like in the same place, same time. Like we all like this like alternative music. And then we had a conversation and then people were like jumping in then talking about, like Busted. And then I was like, oh, I'll put Busted on a playlist. And literally, like there was an hour of us all just connecting on a level.
Wow.
They all ended up buying products. They were new to the brand. And, in that conversation, they were like, right, so what should we use? I like this, I like that, I like this scent. And then, that was 4 sales, 4 new customers just off of the back of the conversation and then just connecting and realising and, all just kind of merged into one, which I think is a great example of like how our lives are.
Yeah.
Like I said, nothing is to, dare I say, TMI. We're very, very open. I'll, talk about spots, buttony, backly, and how I use the products. And I think there's like a real, like I said, it's all about the relatability that people are like, actually, I'm not alone here. And someone's on the internet talking about that and they're using a product that's helping it. And it's like, right, no brainer. Like,
yeah, just go in and buy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And how do you, can you see in your stats, I guess, on TikTok or your e-commerce, how many new customers you got from a live? Or is more your feeling like I haven't seen her before, or like?
Yeah, so they'll naturally tell you, and I think the more you do it, you do see the regulars coming in.
Yeah.
During the live, to be honest, like I said, we do have like the sellers like dashboard open, but we don't necessarily go like further into those analytics. I think we kind of had that fed back, and that's like the team they're managing it. So at that point in time, we don't necessarily see that divide, but we can see the orders that come through. So we'll have that open as well, and we'll see the username and what they've bought. So we can see, like there's some people who are, I've bought, and you look and you're thinking, no, you haven't, but it's okay. You see others and they're like, I bought like 10 minutes ago and actually, oh my gosh, I need to buy again. And you'll see the orders coming in. Again, I don't think we like hold anyone to that.
No.
And we certainly don't kind of manage it. I think the job itself to them being able to, like I said, you literally need to be in front of the screen. And I think that analytical data then, it was a bit difficult to kind of manage alongside presenting, this. I think we'd be, juggling a lot of plates if we had to do that. But we can see like, the basics of it. We can see the sales coming in. We also have some like guidance where you can see kind of the most clicked. So we obviously pin products, but in the bottom you do have your live feed. We do get some guidance there of like tag this item being viewed like 10 times in the last how many minutes. So that gives you a little bit of like emphasis to get that, in front and pinned on the very front screen, that no one has to go into a feed and scroll to find it. So those stats do come in useful, so we can react and get the product that people are viewing and wanting to the front, forefront of the live. But yeah, we don't necessarily kind of sit there. Like I said, we do have our kind of check-ins And as far as I'm aware, numbers are strong.
Yeah.
I know like the revenue across TikTok, the lives are a really kind of important part of that. And like I said, they just naturally sit alongside then everything that the social team are doing then on the main feed, and it just merges beautifully, like the team and what they do on social media. And like I said, having that integration of us on the feed as well, I think is really, really important. It kind of gives us, little, I can't say I didn't enjoy modeling for them. It was great. But again, it puts us in the forefront. It brings in, people who may have not been there. But again, it's all about that like inclusivity and like involvement.
I love it. And okay, I get a feeling like you guys are pushing a lot of new products out there, which is great. Yeah, always something to talk about. But if you think of the brands where maybe the nature, like they cannot push new products every month,
Yeah.
do you still think it's relevant to run as many lives as you guys do? What's your thoughts on that? Like if you think of brands that maybe not launching too many products, like can they still do it, or should they think in a different way?
I think so. I've seen a couple like fashion brands like this, and they have their core products, and seeing what they do, they aren't necessarily on all the time, but they do have their allocated spot. And I think the way in which I've seen people get around it is they have this allocated spot, they advertise that out, their audience know when they're going to be on, but during that live, there's a real emphasis on some like exclusive like discounts. So they may not be able to offer something that's like unique and new, but actually it's an opportunity, say 5 p.m, you go in a TikTok shop and you want to buy a dress that's £10. What they could do then during a live, say between 7 and 10 p.m, during that time, they'll do like run a flash sale. So that dress may possibly be, £5 during the live. So, I think there's like a way around it. I don't think you necessarily need to keep pushing newness. I do apologise. It was just entered home. Sorry. My dad's just popped in there. But yeah, I think there's definitely ways around it. And I think it's, again, kind of creating that like inclusive like opportunity there where they're doing a flash sale or they'll do giveaways. But again, I think it's ultimately like connecting. Like I think for TikTok Live specifically, it is that connection with your audience, but connection to people. And you do naturally get picked up in the algorithm. So it isn't just the same people joining in. You guess, and you'll have people swooping through, and it's an opportunity there that you're constantly talking about your brand, you're talking about your product. It's not in a video form that's static, and you get enough off of it. But ultimately, the lives there are an opportunity. I do love the fashion ones where they're trying things on in particular, because you can see it on a person, you can see it in real time, and you can ask questions if you need to as well. But sometimes maybe on a main feed, you don't get the opportunity to. So I don't think, I think if you're worried that you haven't got newness all the time, there's definitely ways around it. And I think that's a prime opportunity, like I said, questions, connection, and maybe running some like exclusivity of, a discount, or, maybe it doesn't have to be, £10 dress down to £5, like that's 50% off, bit extreme. But just even, an incentivized like moment where you'll get an opportunity to connect, talk passionately about what your product's about, get any questions in, but, incentivizing with a little discount or giveaway. Like, I think even giveaways, people go wild for them. Like, absolutely. If they're going to get an opportunity to get something for free, like, we didn't used to run them, and now we do. And honestly,
what happens?
Even in itself. So the entry tends to be you have to comment, and then where there's people then just constantly commenting, that naturally then brings like, I don't know if anybody actually knows how the TikTok algorithm works. I mean, I work in that industry, I'm still like, haven't like nailed what I'm like, actual sweet spot is. But the more engagement and more comments, again, you picked up in the algorithm, it brings people in. People are like, what is this? And then you just spiral, and then you've got people, and we always say like follow us, like us, and you see the following go up, and people are just like, it's like a real buzz because you're timed as well, so you can do like 5, 10 or 15 minutes, I think it is, and we tend to keep it going for 15 minutes, and you just see the numbers go ding 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 ding, and you see people join, and then they just like entrapped in it because they're like, right, all I've got to do is comment here. So it's like, it's a really good like tactic. Like I would say, if you've got the opportunity to give away, definitely utilize that.
Wow.
Because it does. It brings such a.
But when you comment, what happens? So if I want a free gift, I comment. Is it something already connected with your Shopify, or what's the?
No. So you set it up in the feed, and it's all TikTok managed. Or TikTok managed, so the T's and C's and everything, and you simply set it live, and then as a viewer, it's in the top left, and you just click on it, and it's all already set up, and you just like click comment. So we set it up like what the product is, and also like what the comment says. So if we're giving a shave butter away, we'll be something like, I love Mano's shave butter, give me a free shave butter, or something like that. And then, you literally comment, it literally, you just see the comments flying, and the buzz, like we, put the music up and we're just like, oh, go look. But it's quite fun for us because it's a time where we can speak, but we don't necessarily have to think about it. We're like, guys, come on, giveaway, answer. Oh. And then, TikTok, I don't know how they do it, but they put it into something, and then all of a sudden it just announces, and it's like, so-and-so is the winners. It's like minimal effort, but like maximum impact.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, but then, and as a final, I feel like we can talk for hours. You love talking, which is great. That's your talent, what I've done. But as like a final point, like if you think of the brands out there, they want to do more of, your work and lives. Any other tips, tricks that they should think about this, they should not forget about this, or anything that you would like to share?
I think, like I said, just make sure your team, or if you want to be a live presenter, you're just confident with it. Like I have a little ritual. I have a can of Monster, and I put music on in the car, and I'm just like ready to go. But I think the only way to do it is just jump in and do it and try it and test it. Like, dare I say, if we found the winning formula, I think we sometimes find something that works. And then just as much as like a marketing or TikTok trend, it just starts not working. And I think don't be afraid of just putting yourself out there and trying. Like, lives are just, even if you begin and you're not necessarily selling on them, I think they're just such a vital, and I need to follow my own advice here, but I think they're such a vital way of connecting with an audience that isn't like static, isn't delayed, and it's in real time. And I think in a place where we are post-COVID, I think that is what people are looking for. I think they're looking for that connectivity. I think they're looking to be, feel like relatable. And I think there's a real natural, lovely, honest way that you can connect with that audience that isn't necessarily sale heavy, but it is informative. And it, you're able, for me, I love that people can showcase their passion. And that is what comes across. Like you do get it through on a TikTok like post. I get it. But I think in a real time moment, there's just something so fun and honest and unique that you're able to like connect with, even if it's 10 people or thousands of people, and have that like open like space. So yeah, I think, confidence is key. Love the sound of your own voice. Be passionate about it. Let that passion shine. Like, the bigger the better, I would say. Don't ever feel like you're going too over the top, because if you've got a passion about it, share it, and just go for it. Just go for it, and just tweet. Look at your numbers in the very beginning maybe, and just see what worked, what people reacted to. Like, I promise you, people will be open and honest and feedback if they're liking it, if they're not. And I think there's a real opportunity there then for you to take that away and really grow on it. And I think that is what, dare I say, Manos and the team are really good at. You know, we've found what people react to and we found what people relate to, and we've made that into our own kind of like unique personality and our own unique lives, and that just kind of merges together then and brings like everything together and just showcases what Manos is all about.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I feel like I feel like live streaming is a no-brainer. Now I don't understand why so few brands out there do TikTok live.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't do live on TikTok, but I need to like get my little setup, and then, you know, it sounds silly. Just I watch people get ready on a morning. I'll sit there and I'll watch someone get ready, and that is like entertainment. And they'll showcase your products during it, or they'll just have that conversation. And I'm like, this is kind of easy, but yeah, like I need to follow my own advice.
Yeah. Yeah. But great. I think this is great. Yeah. I mean, thanks for sharing all these tips and tricks and the insights. I really think also when brands will listen to this, they will feel like, yeah, let's get started. Like, let's try this. And like you said, like, I think in the beginning it will be a lot of testing and see what works and doesn't work, you know, but eventually they will probably have the consistency and just doing it every week and see results. But,
With it, I mean, it's like your main feed as well. If you're a social media manager, you'll even an influencer yourself, you'll know the algorithm change. You just need to react to it. And it's all, you know, taking the data into consideration, reacting. But yeah, just stay consistent with it. And I always say to everybody, even like local businesses, I'm like, why are you not on TikTok Live? Why are you not just doing it? Like, you're speaking to me on a one-to-one level here, and I see your passion. You can extend this to like hundreds, thousands of people here. Like, take it, run with it. It's an opportunity. Just do it.
I agree. But great. Thanks for joining and sharing all this.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's incredible to chat with yourself and obviously, you know, share with everyone out there.